The key to getting really good seats up front is hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is actually going to be a different video because I'm doing it solely for people who have signed up for the live taping for AGT or any other similar game slash reality show. I'm sure it's kind of similar format, but this is specifically for AGT because that's where we went, my husband and I. It was so much fun. It was definitely an experience, and I'll share more about kind of my personal takeaways. I'm sure everyone has different takeaways for it, but when I was preparing leading up to the taping, because it is quite a drive. We live in San Diego, so it's a few hours with LA traffic up there and also back. Also, I'm pregnant, so there are a lot of things I was trying to figure out. Like, will there be water? Like, will we have to stand in the heat because it was going to be 96 degrees? Would we have to stand in line for a long time? How do we get food? Like, what's the snack situation? Because I'm constantly hungry, you know? So I had all these questions. I found some help based on bits of information I could find online, but nothing super detailed and comprehensive. So I felt like I just wanted to make a video to help people who are wondering and wanting to know what to expect. Beforehand, I looked up parking places. One of them was right across like one of the streets near a hotel, and it's like walking distance to the auditorium in Pasadena. I think it was like $9 flat for the entire 8 hours. Not too bad for parking. I'm not sure where everyone else parked. I think they probably parked at the convention center, but I'm pretty sure that cost is a lot higher. So I would highly recommend going to the nearby parking lots. I used Spot Hero just to find the one that was closest, and it worked out perfect for us and it wasn't crowded at all. So they also said in the instructions to only bring closed, like sealed snacks. So I brought things in like Ziploc bags to eat on the way and also back down and also in line, because who knows, it might be like multiple hours in line, which it wasn't, which I'll talk about. And also because it was going to be so hot, I brought a neck fan in case, a cooler with ice packs, and a frozen water bottle, popsicles. I just think it's better to be over prepared than under prepared. As soon as we got there, we had to use the bathroom, obviously, so we went to the hotel, which is actually a life hack if you're ever like looking for a public bathroom and public bathrooms gross you out as it does for me. Hotels are always great to just like pop in real quick, act like you belong, and use their bathroom. And it was really nice to have some AC for a bit. Then we walked right on over because there's an exit from the hotel that connects directly to the venue. So we went to the visitor area where it says to line up. Our arrival time on our ticket was 2 p.m. I believe they have two separate arrival times per taping day, but ours was at 2, the earlier one, and we got there around 12:30ish, and already there's already people there in line. But I will say the line was definitely not as long as I had feared, and within minutes of us getting in line, one of the workers came out and was making announcements and basically explained that within 5 minutes they were going to hand out physical tickets that basically determines your seating, and then between then and 2:45 you could just roam around, get food, do whatever you need, and then come back around 2:45. They would start doing security, and then 3:55 is when you need to be in your seats. So that was a huge relief because I hate standing in line, especially in the heat, and especially because I had to wear closed-toe shoes, which is part of the instructions, and I've been living in these cloud slippers, and they also ask you to wear dark clothing. So all these things combined, I was like, how am I going to survive standing in the sun in dark clothing with uncomfortable shoes? I just had all these fears, but thankfully we didn't have to wait in line very long. We showed them our online confirmation, you know, that you signed up for it, and then they give you your physical ticket. And then they pretty much have food around that area that you could just roam around and take a look. There's a Starbucks, there's some other restaurants and cafes. I had done research beforehand to find healthy food places because that's really important for both me and my husband. So we walked a few blocks down to Earth Cafe, one of our favorite healthy, delicious places, and it was such a great lunch, very filling and nutritious. I have been trying to opt for more protein and things that will make my body feel good, especially during pregnancy, especially because during the filming you won't have time or won't be able to exit and enter as you wish, and they don't sell food in there either. So I just wanted to make sure I ate something that was filling, that keep me sustained and give me energy, which I'm so grateful for because the entire production required a lot of energy, which I'll talk about. Oh, and also, before we left for lunch, I had asked one of the workers, like, is this bag okay? Because they said small bags, but they didn't say how small or how big. She did say my tote bag seemed fine, but it still felt a bit big, so I wanted to put my tote bag back and get my smaller purse out. They said you could bring small bottles, like small water bottles. I didn't know what small meant, so I just brought these like short mini Yeti tumblers, but apparently they said that's not allowed. By small bottles, what they really meant was basically a plastic water bottle. So thankfully I had packed that one plastic water bottle in my frozen cooler in the trunk. So after lunch, we basically took the Yetis and the tote bag back to the car, and then we still had a bit of time, so we just chilled in the hotel lobby. Again, I'm surprised that no one else was there. And then at 2:45, we made our way back to the big blue tent where they were doing security and check-in, but there were a lot of people there already. So although I had feared a tough line situation in the morning, the harder part would be going through security, because in the morning where you lined up, there was shade next to the building, but for security, there was no shade. So we were just like in the sun, in the heat. Most people are adhering to the dress code, which is dark or black clothing, holding like their iced drinks against their faces. We were told to take off any labels on the water bottles to not accidentally seem like we're sponsoring any brands. I forget how long we were in line. I think I tried just not to think about it. And eventually we got through, and it was such a relief to finally get into the theater where there's AC. And yes, there are drinking fountains. So I was so relieved about this. I had actually checked with the person who heads up on-camera audiences, which is what allows all these people, including us, to go to the live tapings of these shows, and she reassured me via Instagram that there was a drinking fountain, and sure enough there was. So thank you, Casey, for that heads up. We took some pictures in the lobby, also went to the bathroom, and then when we got into the theater, wow, they really know how to hype it up and hype you up as an audience. Basically, as part of the live audience, you are pretty much an essential part of their production props. You are coached by their MC or their audience host to cheer, to be engaged, to react to performances and the judges. And they play fun music also beforehand and in between during commercial breaks. So I felt like I witnessed just like a master class in audience hype upness and engagement. I was very impressed and also thankful that I had conserved my energy beforehand to be able to cheer and stand up and sit down and all these things. And then one of the highlights for us was when we found out, because we saw our seat on the ticket, but we didn't know what it meant really. We looked it up online and it's like, oh, okay, it seems like it's around the middle, but we didn't know until we really physically got there how close we were to the actual judges table. We were only 3 rows away and really just got to experience the entire thing up close. In fact, part of how they incentivize the audience to really engage and be interactive and excited and hyped is to give away seats in our section for those people. So I felt really, really grateful and blessed that we were able to already be assigned there when other people were like hoping with everything that they would be picked to come. In terms of how we got assigned those seats, I honestly can't say for sure. Number one, I did read online some tips about, you know, if you adhere to the dress code and if you look pretty nice and put together, they will tend to favor you and put you near the front. So we just tried our best to put in some effort into how we looked, but obviously, like, I'm pregnant and we don't look like models, whereas I actually honestly do feel like the people in the very front all looked very young and hip and almost like model-like, and I'm almost not sure, like, were they VIPs or did they just get assigned there? I'm really not sure. But at the same time, even if you don't adhere to the dress code, I did see people wearing other colors that were still seated pretty close to the stage, just nearby, like near the sides. But yeah, definitely if you don't adhere, I did see a lot of people get seated in the balcony, and you can see that from the back view shots when they aired it on television. Ultimately, it is a TV production. They're looking for people who can blend into the background but also be really excited and enthusiastic to make the audience watching on TV also feel the same things. Secondly, I actually did pray for this in the morning, that God would give give us good seats next to the judges. I had a dream about it the night before too. Yeah, amazingly, it actually happened. They go through the entire thing, they tell you what's happening. It's really impressive, again, like how detailed they are with the logistics and how everything is set up so seamlessly. You don't get to see that on YouTube or on TV, but you do get to see the acts on TV. And I will honestly say, both my husband and I were saying that the acts themselves are actually more enjoyable to watch in a sense on TV or on YouTube, because you actually get to see and hear things more clearly with the close-ups on the cameras, the different angles, and how dynamic they are, and also the audio, because when you're in a live audience, you're basically told to scream your head off and you can barely hear anything most of the time, and even the judges' microphones aren't that loud, so you actually can't really hear what's going on, and it does feel a little confusing sometimes when they're like telling you to cheer, or everyone else is booing and you're like, what are we booing, what are we cheering? So definitely the point of going in person isn't necessarily to experience the performances themselves, but just to be part of a live production for this massive television show. Also, they have a few minutes in between acts usually for commercial breaks, and that's when you can run to the bathroom or refill your water bottle if needed. And yeah, I wasn't stuck there in my seat for 4 to 5 hours without any water like I had feared. The temperature was good too. I didn't have to bring a jacket. You get pretty warmed up just with all the movement that you're doing, like standing up, cheering, dancing. And probably the other highlight of the night was also experiencing the golden buzzer in real life, because all the confetti just like falls from the ceiling. You do need to be more in the front half of the room to experience that. If you're in the back, unfortunately the balcony is kind of covering that, so you can't experience it as much. But yeah, that was really thrilling to see that in real life, just to have all this confetti around you, and also see the cleanup crew do such an incredible job cleaning everything up from the judges table and also the stage within that short commercial break. So all in all, we basically arrived around 12:30 and left probably around 8-ish after using the bathroom after the show ended, and it was a live airing, so as soon as we were in the car, I checked and already they had posted these clips on social media, on YouTube, Instagram, all the things. So when we got home, that's when we actually rewatched the performances on our TV, and tried to see if we could find ourselves on the screens. Even though we were sitting pretty close, I think because of certain angles, the cameras are usually coming from the sides and not so much directly like front facing. So unfortunately, we didn't get many opportunities to be on TV, although I did see tiny glimpses of us, but you wouldn't be able to identify us if I didn't point it out. I've always wanted to experience a live audience production for a TV show like this, and America's Got Talent is something that I love following and I love watching just online, and so getting to experience the thing in person was just such a bucket list item that I am really grateful for. So I hope all this information really helps whoever has signed up and is excited to go. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop in the comments below and I will try my best to answer. But of course, also keep in mind things might change. This is just my experience as of the time I'm posting this, but at least I hope it's better than nothing and that you have the best time when you do go.